What up, y'all? It's Cryptopher here to talk a little bit about crypto just because of some of the updates that have happened. My video that I did last was right before the 15% drop in Bitcoin, and at the time the altcoins were going down. I did not give a recommendation either way. Hold on a sec. Excuse me. Wow. A little dust there. But first of all, I don't really give recommendations. If I do give a recommendation, it's more me talking to myself. This is the disclaimer portion right here. I am not a financial advisor. I am not certified, licensed, or qualified to give any form of financial advice. Any decisions you make are purely your own for speculative or investment purposes. And I am not responsible for any good or bad decisions you make. So you decide for yourself. You're an adult. Don't blame me if you mess up. I never told you anything. Boy, my head is shiny because I'm starting to sweat. It is hot. We are on last day of earthquake watch here in California, so anything can happen. The temperature's warm, and it's possible we could have an earthquake because this is perfect timing for it to happen. But if you follow Dutch Since, DUTCHSINSE. He has a channel on YouTube. I recommend it highly. He has a tentative forecast up. Today's the last day for that forecast that California could potentially have a 7.5 ish earthquake located again around Ridgecrest or around the that area because there's energy there. So that's just a side note. I recommend you following him. He's an expert. I've been watching him for years, and he's starting to get a lot more popularity now. And bravo to him for that. Because he gets out really good information. The USGS has been dropping the ball on that. So anyway, back to cryptos. That was a side note. President Trump tweeted out today that he doesn't trust Bitcoin, that it's a volatile thing, and that there is one firm, stable currency in the United States, and that is the U.S. dollar. And if anyone else wants to create a currency, they want to act like a bank. They need to put a charter forth in order to function as a bank, and they need to be regulated by the Federal Reserve. Well, this is where President Trump and I kind of diverge. I love President Trump in every way possible, but this is one way where we are totally in disagreement. Well, not totally. It is true that Bitcoin doesn't really have anything truly tangible backing it, but we are in an era of intangibility. In other words, we are going into the realm of technology where things don't necessarily have to be physical for them to occur. We are entering the era of the Internet of Things. And I think that technology tends to coincide with spirituality. We're entering the realm of spirit, and that's another video I want to go into later, but it's tied into the devil worshippers forcing everyone who doesn't want to believe in God, forcing them to believe in the devil and forcing them to function the way the devil wants them to. A lot of people don't realize that. They may consider themselves agnostic or atheists, or they don't believe in anything. They just believe that we are here and then we die, and that's it. Like a computer, it's on for one moment and then it's off once the switch goes off. But who flips that switch is my question to you. But cryptocurrencies function in that realm of spirituality. And coming from a spiritual perspective, you can listen or you can tune me out at this point until you're ready to come back in when I stop talking about religion. But the Bible talks about in the end times there will be a form of currency, or a form of commerce, I should say more accurately, where you accept a certain mark, right? No one knows what that mark is. They say mark of the beast. That could take any form. But personally, I believe it is a digital form. It is a form or a system form where you get on that system, and if the powers that be, for whatever reason they're in power, are in control over your life, they can cut you off. If you don't want to follow them, they'll cut you off from the system, and you cannot transact business in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I don't see any way that the US dollar is that mark. Even though a lot of people use it and it's a currency and it's controlled centrally, I don't see them being able to shut you off from the dollar unless they make it a digital currency. Well, the dollar is mostly digital at this point. It's ones and zeros. It's a program in a computer, right? And that's all a cryptocurrency is. The only difference is, well, we don't know who created it. And that is a big thing that I don't trust. The whole point about cryptocurrency is that it's supposed to be trustless. It solves a problem where you don't need to see the other side because of blockchain technology. You don't need to see the other side of a transaction. You don't need to see the seller. You don't need to see the product. And vice versa. The seller doesn't need to see the cryptocurrency and who's holding it in order to buy what they want. The transaction occurs in an almost escrow type fashion where it's like supposed to be third party, trustless, no worry, stress-free transaction. The fact that I don't know who created Bitcoin means that anybody could have created Bitcoin, and that even includes a bad actor. For now, Bitcoin is a good cryptocurrency, and I like to speculate in it, and things have been pretty good. But you still don't know who created it, and you don't know its full purpose. And if I didn't create it myself, there's always that issue of, do I really trust the person who created Bitcoin or persons who created Bitcoin? That's a question you have to ask for yourself. I believe the technology is great. The concept of decentralized currency, where you can hold it and use it wherever you want, getting it outside of the regulation of banks and centralized authority, is an awesome idea. I don't want anyone telling me what to do with my money. I don't think anyone wants anyone telling them what to do with their money. The problem with that, though, is who created that money? As long as somebody else created it, they can say that it's decentralized, but technically it's not. This is why I still believe in gold and silver. Okay? I love cryptocurrency. I think it is a great concept. But if we bring in regulation, it kind of defeats the purpose of decentralized cryptocurrency. It centralizes it under the regulators. They tell us how much can be made, how it's to be used, how you can purchase it. You start to get into this whole issue that's almost like gun control, and it starts to oppress us at a property rights level. But then on a religious level or a spiritual level, if you don't subscribe to religion but you believe that what Jesus taught is correct, the cryptocurrency sets up perfectly for the mark of the beast. They don't even have to not agree with you individually. It could be just as a group. All Bitcoin holders cannot transact in the United States. And let's say perhaps the government created Bitcoin and they're not telling us, and they're shocking us, they're surprising us. All of a sudden we think we're all free and independent, and we decide to do a transaction, and they've shut down the internet and they've shut down Bitcoin. Done deal. This is why you don't want to put all your money in one basket. It's a simple philosophy that I learned in elementary school, where we learned about Christopher Columbus. A lot of people don't like Christopher Columbus, but it's history, and they want to erase it because they believe he was racist. I'm sorry, even if you're racist, I'm going to learn about your history, because history teaches you things. And if you don't learn from history, most likely you're going to make the same mistakes of history. The whole reason we have monuments, you may build a monument to someone who is good because you want to remember the good that they do. Someone else may build a monument to someone who is bad, in your opinion, because they want to remember what the bad person did for their purposes. You may not like what that person did, but it's still good that the bad people have built the bad monument, because it reminds you what bad things they did, and you can always work to prevent that. You can even point others to that monument and say, look, this person enslaved black people in the United States, and there's a monument to them. This is what this person looked like. This was their name. This is where they lived. This is what was going on at the time, so that you can remember what caused the slavery and prevent it. If you're stupid and you don't like that evil person and you try to melt down that statue or tear it down or remove it just because you don't like the free speech of the other side to occur, you have now erased the evil from history. And once you die, you are the only monument left. Everyone else is going to forget who that person is. And now, if some evil person who doesn't forget has studied history and wants to be evil also and do the same thing, decides to repeat it, all the new people are not going to know what's going on, and they're going to easily subscribe, just like before that person in history was able to do, and you have slavery all over again. You really want to get rid of slavery, you need to allow freedom, decentralization. Everyone should have the same freedoms, decentralization. And under our Constitution, you have equal protection under the law. This is what the evil ones have changed the Constitution into. They're destroying it, and you may be siding with them because it sounds good what they're saying. Oh, let's get rid of a Robert E. Lee statue. Let's pull down. Let's paint over a George Washington painting. Well, now you've erased history, and now you don't even know what caused slavery. Do you even know what caused slavery? You're so against it, but do you know what caused it? That's why you need history. You need the roots to the bad thing so you can cut it off before it grows into a tree or a shrub that strangles everyone, or a weed in actuality strangles everyone. This is what the Bible also talks about, how you have the wheat and the chaff growing together. The vineyard owner did not want to uproot the weeds because it would have ripped up the good fruit or the good harvest as well. So he let them grow together, and then at harvest time, he reaped both of them. Okay, now, how does that relate to Bitcoin? Like I said, you need to learn the history of money. All right? True, Bitcoin is not backed by anything. But if you know the history of money, that's not such a big factor. I mean, yeah, you want to know what backs it because you want to know if it's a rare item, right? So it prevents the bad guys in control of the currency from multiplying it. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter. In history, they've used seashells. Are seashells really in short supply? No, you just go to the ocean, you can find seashells all over the place. So, well, that's one factor. It needs to store value. If you have all these seashells, how can money be really worthless? Well, worth something. It's actually worthless because there's such a big supply. So, Bitcoin kind of resolves that issue because we're going to have a halving that happens, right? The creation of Bitcoin is limited to, I believe it's 82 million. Or actually, no, that's Litecoin, sorry. Bitcoin is limited to, I believe, 21 million Bitcoin ever produced. That's all they're supposed to produce. Now, again, it's a technology. Does that mean that it's fixed that way forever? Who created Bitcoin? Don't know. As a speculator, I take into account that risk. I'm willing to bet that this person is actually honest, is a real decentralization person like myself who loves freedom. So I'm willing to put a lot of money on Bitcoin. Am I willing to put all my money on Bitcoin? No, because I always take into account that factor that this person may not be in existence. This could be the Federal Reserve that created Bitcoin, and they're suckering us into it. There's a risk always. So this is why I don't give financial advice, because I don't know who you are. You could be an old person. You're retired. You're not working. You have no assets other than potentially Bitcoin you want to buy. And you have about $130,000 in savings, which is kind of scary because you're not going to be able to survive your retirement on just that if you don't have any income. But let's say you want to put all your money on Bitcoin. Yikes. At your age, with no income, and your abilities, your physical abilities are diminished because you're old, you get tired easier. How are you going to work? If you lose all that money, how are you going to work and remake all that money back? You have to be a real genius in order to invent something, but maybe you're going senile, right? Maybe your memory's not as good. Your creativity is not as good because you're older, you know? Nothing against older people. There can be older people that have top-notch mentality. But this is something, again, that all risk tolerance, all investment perspectives are different, right? Each person is different. That's why it's very difficult. And this is why investment advisors don't want to give you advice until they sit down and they kind of ask you, are you afraid of this? Are you not afraid of this? They get a risk profile on you, because if they screw up and they didn't ask you those questions and you really don't know yourself and you don't know the assets you're investing in, you heard about it and you want to get into it as soon as possible because a friend told you, which to me is kind of stupid to do it that way. You should really educate yourself if you want to invest your money. You know, you could sue that investment advisor because they didn't really look out for you. They didn't take their fiduciary duty or their responsibility to watch over your money on your behalf, because you are not qualified to do it, but they are, and you're seeking out their expert advice. You could sue them for neglecting you and not taking care of you, right? So, but in actuality, you need to do that yourself. You need to decide for yourself. Hey, I'm 16 years old. I've got my whole life ahead of me. My parents gave me $10,000 as a gift. I want to take all 10 and put it into Bitcoin and let it ride. That's on you. You're 16. You're at the prime of your age. You can run for days and days without getting tired. You're super smart. Your brain is flexible. You may not have much experience, but the flexibility makes up for that. You know, that's on you. You want to put your money on? By all means. It's a great risk. If you lose it all, let's say Bitcoin turns out to be the lie that I take into account. It could be. I'm not saying it is. It just could be. Let's say it turns out to be the lie, and Satoshi Nakamoto is the Federal Reserve, and they created this, haha, you suckers, I created this Bitcoin for you to put all your money in, and now we're taking it from you. It's okay. You can now go to work and earn it again. You're smart. Your parents will put you through school. If they're going to give you $10,000, they got money. They got enough money to put you through school. You can get an education. You can either start your own business, which I highly recommend, or you can go out and work for someone else, which I highly recommend also as a 16-year-old. You don't have experience, so the best thing to do is go work for another business owner. Get to know how that business works. Earn money while you're learning. You earn while you learn, right? They're paying you while you develop your skills. And then you get some income from there. You can invest while you're working, so your money works for you. And then when you get tired of working there, you can start your own business and have more money come in rather than being the employee and have the business owner take, a good portion of your money. You can hire other people who don't want to do a business or don't know enough to do a business and have them work for you, and you take most of the money and leverage those other people's talents in order to make yourself rich again. You have a great risk tolerance level. Older person, no. So this is why President Trump, you have to take into account who President Trump is. He's an old man already. He's in his 70s. And, God bless him. I love him. But my mom's in her 70s. She's about the same age as President Trump. I tried to tell her about Bitcoin. Nah, I don't want to hear about it, right? Can't even grasp it. Doesn't want to try. And I told her, she kept telling me, I want to save for your I want to put a savings account for your kids. And I was like, yeah, I welcome that. That's great. If you want to do that for your grandkids, that's fine. I recommend just buy one Bitcoin per kid and then forget about it, right? At that time, Bitcoin was like $3,500 a Bitcoin, $3,500 a Bitcoin, $3,500. It was at the low. Nah, I don't want to do it. Well, I'm telling her right now, it got up to 14,000. She could have made money in a couple months already and taken the money out, put it in a savings account. She would have already had a lot of money for the kids. But, trying to tell old people that stuff, remember, their investment risk and tolerance are different. Also, President Trump is the president of the United States. It's the U.S. dollar at this point is the money power of the United States. If you take that away from the United States, it kind of clips President Trump's abilities to do things. It kind of limits him because money is powerful, right? Just imagine, you try to go out and do stuff with no money. You can't. And if someone offers to give you money, well, hey, it gives you a little bit of power to do what you want, right? This is how we use our money to influence the world. It's manifest destiny. Yes, it's imperialism. Yes, because we believe we are the freest nation in the world and we want the rest of the world to learn that. In many cases, that's true, but that's changing because a lot of people don't know what freedoms we have, so they're giving them away, like gun control. They're letting guns go away, like minority rights. Well, everybody has rights under the Constitution, but they're fighting for causes. Those things are changed. So President Trump, that's a side note, but President Trump's mentality is different. His investment horizon is different. He's a billionaire. He has a lot to lose, right? If he invests his money, he has high risk to him. He's older. He can't make it back as much. He doesn't have much time left. So these are all things that you have to consider when you're seeking the advice of someone else. How educated are they? Well, President Trump is a Wharton Business School graduate. I mean, he is way high up there on the charts in terms of intelligence and how to manage money. And he's a billionaire, so he's got experience. Someone you should listen to. But again, his age totally affects his outlook on how to deploy money. So this is why with Bitcoin, it's up to you. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody else. You need to decide for yourself. What is Bitcoin to me? How important is it? Do I really need to invest in it? I love Bitcoin's idea. And currently there are exchanges coming up. And there are transaction places where the point of sales can occur. Like you can go to Amazon and use Bitcoin, to Amazon Prime, use Bitcoin to buy things. There are places all over the place that are starting to accept Bitcoin. So, I love the idea. That's on you if you want to do that. I'm not going to give you that advice. All I do here is try to educate you based upon what I know about it, what I've learned about it. I think that cryptocurrency is a great idea. Again, Litecoin is my favorite version. Just because Charlie Lee says he's a creator of it and he goes out and he's a spokesperson of it, I also keep in account that he may not be. He may be a puppet. And again, that could be another Federal Reserve that's trying to do it. I believe that the world globalists want to take us to digital currency, and this is a means to do it. Am I totally against global currencies? No. If they're done properly, I'm not against them. But I do keep in account that I'm Catholic, and scriptures say the devils will take us to that system of the beast, and cryptocurrencies could potentially be that. So if I recognize that, I would easily cut that off. I would stop it. I'm willing to lose the amount of money that I put into cryptocurrencies. I'm willing to lose it. It's a speculation. I'm 42 years old, almost, in November. I have time in my life that if I lose it all, I can always make it back, and I still have my abilities. It's getting more painful, but I still have good abilities. I still am relatively young. People think I'm in my 30s, early 30s. Great. That gives me extra time. If that's the way my body is, my age isn't reflected properly in my body, great. God has blessed me with extra time. So this is what I'm saying to you about cryptocurrencies. The way I see it, I love cryptocurrencies ideas. Decentralization is the way to go. Stop having everything controlled by one entity somewhere far away, like a government. Let people decide for themselves. We're all educated. We're all intelligent people. There are still some screwy people in the world, but people can change, and we can educate them. Let people have power over their own lives. That's what freedom is about. That's what America was about. So Bitcoin should be no challenge to the U.S. dollar. And if the U.S. dollar is managed properly by governments, if governments are so good and at assisting us in our lives and making our lives better, excuse me, let me switch, my arm's getting tired, my hand's getting tired. If the U.S. dollar is such a good currency and it is so strong, then should be no threat, right? Bitcoin should be no threat. This is the whole concept to me of vaccines, same. If someone wants to get a vaccine, let them get a vaccine. I don't want it. If your vaccine works and I get sick, you shouldn't get sick, right? So what do you have to worry about whether I got a vaccine or not? You should have nothing to worry about. This is the whole concept of money and cryptocurrencies. If your US dollar is so sound because a government is managing its supply and how much is being borrowed, and keep control of the value, and it's more stable, in your opinion, stick to the dollar. You go ahead and gamble that one out, because history has told me that doesn't end well, because you got people running it, and nobody is smart enough or good enough. Keep in mind, they have to be a good character in order to keep money value stable. No one is smart enough or good enough to maintain the value of the US dollar or any currency yet. Doesn't mean it can't be possible, but so far history has told us, at least recorded history has told us, it ain't possible. So nothing is for certain, and that's why you don't put your money all in one basket. This is what I was talking about with Christopher Columbus before I end. The story about Christopher Columbus is he wanted to explore to the New World, to find the New World. At that time was, in their mind, Asia and India, right? They weren't able to see it, so it was considered the New World, because, consider at that time their technology. They didn't have airplanes. They didn't have cars that we know of, right? Based upon the way we learned history. They couldn't travel very far, so your understanding about everything around you was very limited. So they had explorers that wanted to go out and find new lands, right? Because as population grows, you need more resources. So Christopher Columbus approached the Queen and said, hey, I want to go explore the land. The Queen said, hey, all right, I'm going to give you the money to go. I'm going to finance you, and I want you to bring me back gold. And in exchange, you get to keep some of the spoils that you find in this new land. But at the same time, and you get the credit for finding it, but at the same time, I am the queen and I'm giving you the money, so everything comes back to me, right? Again, business owner, right? That's what the monarchs used to be in that kind of society, right? We're not in that society. In the United States, we're considered kings and queens, all of us, equally under the Constitution. All right? Anyway, so what do? They don't put all their eggs in one basket. The Queen wants to get something back, right? And at that time, because of the technology and their ability to build certain things and the sturdiness of things, you want to make sure something comes back. So you don't send one big ship, right? So Columbus didn't come discover America, I shouldn't say America. He actually landed on the West Indies, but he didn't come to America in one boat, right? They gave him three: the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. What's the concept behind that? Because you distribute your wealth among three boats, so that on the rough seas, if there's a storm, if one boat goes down, two can return. You still get more money back. If two boats go down, at least you get one back, and you get to break even, right? Maybe on your investment, or at least you limit your loss that way. But if you send one boat on the rough seas and that goes down, that's it. Imagine if three boats, you send three and three came back, man, you are wealthy, right? You really made a good investment. The risks were there, but you surpassed the risk and you lucked out. Great. That's the concept behind not trusting one asset only. Bitcoin is like the Nina. Gold is like the Pinta. The dollar is like the Santa Maria. And if you want, real estate can be the Pina Colada for all you care, right? It's the fourth boat. But you can diversify your boats. Don't diversify so much if you have no money. Don't diversify all your money to the point where you can't even afford the boat, right? You're only getting like the sail on the boat. Then it's not really worth your investing at that point. Build your money first before you invest in anything, right? And at that point, if you're building your money, you're actually in the dollar, which is what the Santa Maria, I said the Santa Maria, right? So the Santa Maria is basically the dollar at that point. If you're working, you're just getting a paycheck, you're just building your boat of the Santa Maria at that point. So you are in one boat. and the dollar could do well for you, or could go down. So that's the risk you face. So this is a little primer on speculation, but it's mostly to address what's going on in the cryptocurrencies. I believe the cryptocurrencies are going to rally again. I believe it's coming. But again, I told you, the credit system is in the process of imploding. That's why you're seeing the banks going down right now. You're seeing Deutsche Bank having problems and laying off, what is it, 18,000 or was it 81,000? I can't remember. I'm dyslexic, so things switch on me. But I believe it's 18,000. The lower number makes more sense because the other one sounds too crazy. $18,000, or 18,000 employees were laid off from Deutsche Bank. So that's a bad sign. When the banks are doing that, the credit crunch is on. So most people borrow money in order to invest. Guess what they're doing in Bitcoin, right? They're Bitcoin futures. So they're borrowing money on margin in order to trade Bitcoin. It's not money that they have themselves. They're trying to leverage the movements of Bitcoin. God, you imagine if people lose money on that trade? They are super in debt. They could even lose their house, their cars. That eliminates them permanently from the Bitcoin market. So what we're seeing is a little bit of a washout. And I told you, you're going to have washouts during this. Expect Bitcoin, Litecoin, and all the others to go down. Expect gold and silver to go down. Anything that you can borrow money to invest in or borrow currency to invest in can crash in an economy where people need money because we're having deflation around. They're losing jobs, things like that. The only place that's showing that they're building jobs is the United States. The rest of the world is in a slowdown. There's no way the U.S. can carry the whole world. So U.S. is going to slow down along with the rest of the world for a little bit of time until our job markets rebuild. So expect a little bit of pain. And expect, in the beginning, dramatic price drops. So Trump is right on the volatility of the market. Use that time to buy assets that you want and then forget about them. Determine an amount you are okay with parting with and it won't kill you if it disappears. And then you deploy it in whatever asset you think is valuable. I personally think anything denominated in dollars is going to be value because President Trump has spoken about how he wants to devalue the dollar. The Fed is talking about cutting rates, and that's what everything is bought in, that currency. So the price of price of everything in dollar terms is going to go up as you cut the value because you need more to buy that stuff. Commodities are things: gold, silver, oil, crops with the weather, food, crops, I think are going to skyrocket at some point. But initially, doesn't make sense, but I think initially the prices may drop because people are speculating. They're putting money in that market, expecting prices to skyrocket, and then when they drop, the people have to unwind and sell those positions, and that's a leveraged position, so it can drive the price of crops down dramatically, even though we got a massive shortage. So it can make the shortage even worse because it's leveraged. Get ready to buy those things when you see those tremendous drops. If you're a speculator, that's the way I see it. When I speculate, I want to buy things on sale. When there's a massive price drop, woo! The bigger the drop, the better. I want it. If I hold it, ouch, it hurts a little bit, but I'll buy more because if I like it, I like it. So let that be a beginning primer for you. I know I've done other videos on it, but let it be a beginning. If you've lasted this far into this video, let that be a beginning primer on you to start educating yourself, okay? And it will benefit you better and me better if you educate yourself, because I don't want you in Bitcoin if you don't know what you're doing. And I put my money in Bitcoin, and you enter the market and you're able to drive Bitcoin up to 20,000, and then all of a sudden someone starts selling and then you get wiped out and you start selling too, and then it just drives the market, it crashes. I don't want that. I want a stable market. I want a market that if you decide to borrow money, you got in low, and you all of a sudden, you got in at the low after like a 50% drop in Bitcoin or a 20% drop in Bitcoin, you decided to leverage on the rally and it rallies. Man, I want you to be rich because as you start leveraging, you're going to move that price up for me and I'm going to start making money too. I'm not trading on leverage. Trust me, at this point, I know too much about leverage. I'm not that greedy. I'm just going to use my cash, put it in. I got a slower time horizon and a more relaxed one and a lower risk tolerance because I'm getting older. I don't want to have to keep working to remake money, so I'm buying on cash. So when it drops dramatically, I'll just buy it on cash, hold, and forget. I hodl. Hodl all the time. I hodl till it hurts, right? So, all right, with that, let that be a primer. May you educate yourself. May you position yourself properly. May we all see prosperity and wealth together. May the government keep their frickin' hands off of this market. And may Satoshi Nakamoto be the true decentralized person or entity, whether it's a group of people or whatnot. May that be the honest, decentralized, freedom-seeking, independent, libertarian type person that I want to believe they are, so that we will all prosper in cryptocurrency. And if we don't, if it turns out the opposite, hey, may your other alternatives, your other ships, your diversified, not diversified, as Robert Kiyosaki likes to talk about, your diversified investments or speculations do well for you. God be with you. If you like this, it's the first time hearing my videos, please hit that like button. You raise me up on the search meters, and more people will find me. I appreciate that. If you don't like me, go ahead and hit that down button too. I don't care. But if you like me, hit it up. Subscribe so you can hear more of my videos. Hit that bell notification so you know when I put out a new video, it notifies you, and you don't have to just dig for me, even though you're subscribed. But most importantly, please share this information with people you believe can benefit from what I am showing you from my experience. And may God benefit you, bless you, keep you. I love you all. Feel free to donate. I have links in the description below to my cryptocurrencies addresses. You can go ahead and send cryptocurrency to me. I welcome it. And for those of you who have sent it, thank you very much. I much appreciate it. Although at this point, we've lost a lot of value in some of the stuff, but that's okay. I'm holding till whatever. And at this point, I love you guys. Be safe, be wise, and be free. Take care.